Tim Duncan was born into a close-knit family in the U.S. Virgin Islands, with two older sisters, Cheryl and Trisha, and an older brother. Naturally, young Timmy looked up to his sisters and wanted to follow in their footsteps. With quiet determination, Duncan dived into swimming. He quickly became a standout swimmer in his high school, dreaming of representing his country in the 1992 Olympics. But fate had other plans. In 1989, a devastating hurricane struck the Virgin Islands, destroying the only Olympic-sized pool on the island and with it, Duncan's Olympic dreams. Without access to a proper pool, Timmy tried swimming in the ocean, but his fear of sharks quickly put an end to that. With his dreams of Olympic glory dashed, Duncan turned his focus to a new sport, basketball. Duncan's basketball journey didn't start smoothly. On the court, he was awkward and unsure of himself, far from the dominant force he would later become. But as with swimming, Tim's perseverance shone through. He worked tirelessly, gradually finding his rhythm and honing his skills. At St. Dunstan's Episcopal High School, Duncan's hard work began to pay off. By his senior year, he was averaging 25 points per game, which caught the attention of college scouts. The San Antonio Spurs, after a season riddled with injuries, found themselves with the first pick in the 1997 NBA draft. They chose Tim Duncan.
With the first pick in the 1997 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Tim Duncan from Wake Forest University.
And it would prove to be one of the most pivotal decisions in the franchise's history. Duncan wasted no time making his mark. As a rookie, he averaged 21.1 points and 11.9 rebounds per game, immediately establishing himself as one of the league's top players. It was no surprise when he was named the NBA Rookie of the Year for the 1997 and 98 season. Duncan's impact was felt immediately. In his rookie season, he led the Spurs to a 56-26 record, good enough for the 5th seed in the Western Conference. Though the Spurs were ousted by the Utah Jazz in the semifinals, it was clear that Duncan was destined for greatness. The following season, a lockout shortened the NBA season to just 50 games, but Duncan was undeterred. He led the Spurs to the best record in the league and their first ever NBA Finals appearance. In the finals, the Spurs faced the New York Knicks, who had defied expectations by reaching the championship as the 8th seed. However, they were no match for Duncan and the Spurs. San Antonio went 15-2 in the playoffs, including a 4-1 victory over the Knicks in the finals to capture their first NBA title. Duncan was named Finals MVP, averaging 27.4 points, 14 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks per game. At just 23 years old, Tim Duncan had already secured his place among the NBA's elite. Spurs fans and the basketball world at large eagerly anticipated how many more titles this young star would bring to San Antonio.
You have pride, you have goals, you'd like to be an MVP in the regular season, but is that something you wanted to showcase?
I don't think I went out there just to showcase that, but it's great. It's a great feeling to have, knowing that on the biggest stage in the NBA can have, they go out there and play that well.
Duncan's second season delivered a championship, but some skeptics downplayed the achievement, dismissing it as a lockout title. Shaquille O'Neal's Los Angeles Lakers would go on to win 3 consecutive championships, seemingly validating those doubts. But Duncan wasn't finished proving himself. The 2002-03 season was a true test for Duncan and the Spurs. Since their 1999 title, they had faced the Lakers twice in the playoffs, losing both times. However, in 2003, Duncan and the Spurs finally had their revenge, defeating the Lakers 4-2 in the Western Conference semifinals. With the Lakers out of the way, the Spurs advanced to the NBA Finals, where they faced the New Jersey Nets. Once again, Duncan rose to the occasion. The Spurs won their second title in franchise history, defeating the Nets 4-2. Duncan was named Finals MVP for the second time, with averages of 24.2 points, 17 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 5.3 blocks per game. This performance solidified his status as one of the greatest players in NBA history. Duncan would add 2 more championships to his resume, in 2005 against the Detroit Pistons, and in 2007 against a young LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The 2005 finals was particularly memorable, as Duncan led the Spurs to a 7-game victory over the defending champion Pistons, earning his third Finals MVP award. However, Duncan's journey to greatness was not without its challenges. In 2013, he faced LeBron James once more. The Spurs and Heat battled through a grueling 7-game series, with the Heat ultimately prevailing. It was the first time Duncan had lost in the finals, and it was a bitter pill to swallow. But true to his character, Duncan came back stronger. The very next year, the Spurs faced the Heat again in the 2014 finals. This time, the Spurs were dominant, winning the series in 5 games and setting a finals record for the largest average margin of victory. Duncan, now in the twilight of his career, had added another chapter to his storied legacy.